Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and today we're going to have some fun. I'm going to show you, we're going to do a little dreaming today, but in the group today, I've told you many times, I was told maybe 5 years ago now that XRP was created to prevent World War III and to replace the petrodollar. In the group today, we're going to talk about what is that much larger purpose that XRP has. This has never been about cartoon monkeys, green candles, and price go up, although it will. It's been about changing the entire financial system. And I'm going to show you some stuff that many of you probably have never seen, but what this is really all about, in my opinion. You can go to daixrp.com to join through the Patreon, or you can go down here and click the join button right there below any of my YouTube videos if you'd rather join through YouTube. Check this out. Here is the CEO of Caleb & Brown.
Caleb & Brown offers something different to every single client based on your needs, right? Some clients come in with existing operational knowledge, right? Maybe they've been in crypto for a while, so they've got an understanding of the custody risks. They've got an understanding of all, operational mistakes that they could possibly make. And for those clients, we're spending a lot of time discussing the asset class. We might be discussing subsectors within the asset class. We might be discussing the exposures that they'd like to have, or we might be discussing the peers to the assets in the portfolio. For an investor that's new to crypto, what we're able to help you do, give you an understanding of what the asset class is comprised of in the large cap assets, in the mid cap assets, in the small cap assets, in the different sectors that exist, different industry groups. From there, after you've made your first trade, what we also do is we recommend to the clients in the crypto industry, the best custody is your self-custody. However, there are unique risks to self-custody, and that may include secure setup of your cold storage, keeping your recovery phrase secure, and then keeping your devices secure. For some clients, they may not want to have the anxiety associated with operating their own cold storage and self-custody. And so for them, we explain to the client how we hold our custody, and they can hold it with us, and we give them all the tools necessary to keep their accounts secure.
If your parents are like mine, they've never been comfortable with all the self-storage stuff. And I think that 90% of people that are going to come into crypto have never felt good about it either. I don't think you're going to get the major adoption without having institutional grade custody. And Caleb & Brown is the first place that I've been able to find where retail has access to it. That's why I moved my exit money over there. Now, it's easy for you to go sign up. Go to xrpwealth589.com. I created that little domain just to forward you to my page, my sign up page here on Caleb & Brown. Click sign up today. Now, we're going to have some fun today. If you're like me, you spend a lot of your time dreaming about what you're going to do. And it's not Lambos for me. What are you going to do when you finally get the XRP price that you want? Well, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to pay cash for real estate. That's I don't want to deal with banks anymore after this thing. And one of the places that I am looking at, which a lot of you are probably looking at too, especially many people out in California, especially because California has major taxes out that way, and Florida is, and I'll show you that in a minute. But what you're looking at here is the Gulf of America. And so I'm always looking, and I'm actually on an email list, which I'm going to show you in a second. I'm on an email list where I receive every Friday different oceanfront properties down on the Gulf of America. Okay, this is one of the properties I was sent in the email yesterday. This is a condo, oceanfront condo down on the beach. This is in Panama City Beach, Florida. I grew up going down that way, so that these are the most beautiful beaches in the entire world, folks. Hands down. I've been all over the world. Hands down, this is it. And so I was looking through this, and I just wanted to show you what I've done is I've partnered with some guys that are XRP guys, and they're in real estate down there. And I created a domain name for this. It's called GulfOfAmericaXRP.com. GulfOfAmericaXRP.com. These guys are located down out of Panama City Beach, and they cover all the way, this whole area down all the way to, and I grew up going down to all these places. So I spent time in Seaside, Santa Rosa Beach, Panama City. I've been down here to St. George Island. These are fishing areas down here, Cape San Blas, St. George Island. I went to Cape San Blas last year. But anyway, these guys are, they've got an email newsletter, and I get it every Friday, where they send me different properties that are along the Gulf of America. And so I look at this stuff because I know that at some point I'm probably going to pull the trigger and buy a property down that way. So this is, to tell you something interesting. The movie, The Truman Show, was actually filmed right, let me go back. It was filmed right here in Seaside, Florida. This is one of the most amazing, I mean, I'm telling you, these are the most beautiful beaches in the world. All of this in here, I grew up going down there when I was in college and even younger. But that's where they filmed The Truman Show, down there in Seaside. This Florida town is real life Truman Show. It was the perfect thing. You won't believe it if you go down there. I remember going down there around the time that they had filmed The Truman Show. And at one point I saw Jack Nicholson hopped out of a Range Rover down there. It caught the attention of a lot of the people out in California when that movie was done. And a lot of them started buying real estate down there. And here's why. California, 13.3% income tax. Florida, 0. That's one of the many reasons that they go down there. Here's the sign up. If you go to GulfOfAmericaXRP.com, it will forward you to this, and you can sign up to receive that newsletter. Now, if you're interested in buying real estate right now, here's the phone number, 850-890-8884. You can call that number, and you can talk to someone, and you want to go down there, and they'll show you property. And especially for you people, I'm always thinking about California, because California is so nice, but the beaches, they can't even, it's not even in the realm of how nice the beaches are in Florida. I'm just telling you. But more importantly, I see all the time in the news people leaving California because of taxes and many other reasons. Well, if you're doing it, this is the thing to do. You'll get when you sign up here, this is a free email, a free newsletter they send out, and every Friday you'll get properties. So go to GulfOfAmericaXRP.com. Okay, check it out. Look who's coming to XRP Las Vegas.
Hey everyone, this is a friendly reminder to go ahead and purchase your XRP Vegas tickets, because the event is coming up on May 30th and 31st. We're going to have Ripple's Brad Garlinghouse and David Swartz there speaking, as well as the CEO of Uphold, of iTrustCapital, and Caleb and Brown, and so many other people in the digital asset space. It's going to be an awesome way to be able to learn so much during these panels, ask questions and connect with other people from the community. If you are new to this space, this is the perfect opportunity for you. Go ahead and purchase tickets down below. I can't wait to see you in Vegas.
And she's got like 1 million followers, and she's like a golf influencer, model, all this stuff. Okay, the markets are at 2.95 trillion, so everything's kind of flat right now from yesterday. There's some very interesting stuff going on. Charles Hoskinson is, I think he's activated himself for marketing for Cardano, but he's also marketing for utility digital assets in general.
XRP is going to be part of the midnight airdrop.
So XRP is going to be part of the midnight airdrop. Now, this is very interesting. He's been all over the place on social media the last couple of days.
And crypto's winning. It's a $3 trillion economy. It's going to be a $10, $15 trillion economy before the end of the decade.
10 to 15. I mean, just with the growth of crypto in general, we're going to get mega price appreciation. But this is very interesting. Listen to what he says about Cardano.
I don't want to work on things that fail. If we pull these things off, the value creation will be in the tens of billions of dollars. We could be looking at $3 ADA, $5 ADA, $10 ADA.
Well, guess what? You get a $10 ADA, I think that'd put XRP somewhere around the $30 range. Does anybody remember this? This is Brad Garlinghouse back in November of 2017. I don't think Brad Garlinghouse could have fathomed the amount of attacks that Ripple and XRP would undergo after from November 2017 until now. But folks, after all these years, now it's time. The show is about to begin.
What would be your forecast on XRP versus dollar value by the end of 2018?
Well, so one of the things I always say when I'm asked this kind of question is I really don't think that much about the price of XRP in the short term. I don't think about 3 days, 3 months. I think more about in the 3 to 5 year. If we drive a lot of utility and a lot of usefulness of XRP in terms of solving that payments flow. And again, we go back to the question about Walmart and Amazon. If you're solving a corporate treasury problem measured in the trillions of dollars, I think there's a very large market opportunity for XRP to solve that problem. How the market behaves even over the course of 2018, I think is hard to predict. I will say that I think the institutional money is just starting to come into digital assets, and that's true for Bitcoin and Ethereum and XRP. But I think as that money comes into this, what I mean by institutional money, I mean pension funds and fiduciary managed money. I think that will create a lot of demand for digital assets, and if you have fixed supply, as you do with XRP, and you have increasing demand, you don't have to be an econ major to know what happens when you have increasing demand and fixed supply.
You don't have to be an econ major. Look at this, Austin King from Omni, who will be at XRP Las Vegas. You all realize Bank of America has 1.96 trillion in customer deposits, right? And that their CEO, said they'd launch a stablecoin once policy was clear. The largest stablecoin today has a market cap of 0.14 trillion. Zoom out, way out. Things have barely begun. Here's the Bank of America CEO when he said
currency.
That.
It's pretty clear there's going to be a stable coin, which is going to be a fully dollar-backed, type of thing, which is no different than a money market fund with check access. Is no different than a bank account, really. And so, if they make that legal, we'll go into that business. So you'll have a Bank of America coin and a U.S. dollar deposit, and we'll be able to move them back and forth because now it hasn't been legal for us to do it, but it's just then like another foreign currency. The question of what it's useful for is going to be interesting.
Currency.
It's pretty clear there's going to...
I was texting with somebody, sorry. Okay, look at this. Global M2 money supply versus Bitcoin. The massive pump in global M2 remains solid, and with Bitcoin's climb over 95K, we are more on track than ever. So he's showing you there's like an 84 days lag is, I kind of think what he's saying, and M2 money has been going crazy, and just recently Bitcoin started going crazy, and the theory is that all this M2 money, this will flood into the crypto markets. Get ready, this is Chad Steingraber, get ready for, what do you say, get ready for a surprise. We are here. You see this? It's huge. Look where Bitcoin kind of bottomed here, and then the M2 starts cranking up, and we've got a lot further to go if you look at it from that perspective. Look at this. Never thought that Aave would be putting these kind of tweets out. RLUSD by Ripple is growing quickly from 0 to 76 million supply in 4 days. And then we've got this. NASDAQ calls for clearer digital asset rules in letter to SEC. In a new letter, NASDAQ urges the SEC to create a regulatory framework that properly classifies digital assets, arguing they can fit into existing markets with the right oversight. Then we had the crypto task force had a meeting yesterday. Here's Hester Pierce from SEC.
To engage in crypto-related activities, SEC registrants have had to hop from one poorly illuminated regulatory space to the next, all while ensuring that they never touch any crypto asset. A broker or ATS that cannot custody or otherwise handle an asset will find it difficult to facilitate trading in the asset, and a robust market is therefore unlikely to develop. If investment advisors don't know which crypto assets are securities, what type of entities are qualified custodians, and whether exercising staking or voting rights will result in custody violations, advisors may not be able to serve their clients' best interests. Similar confusion may prevent investment companies from investing in crypto assets and investing in a way that would be most efficient or beneficial to the fund. It's time that we find a way to end this game.
All right, and then the new SEC chair, Paul Atkins.
So this is important work as entrepreneurs across the United States are harnessing blockchain technology to modernize aspects of the financial system. I expect huge benefits from this market innovation in terms of efficiency, cost reduction, transparency, and risk mitigation. Market participants engaging with this technology deserve clear regulatory rules of the road. Innovation, unfortunately, has been stifled for the last several years due to market and regulatory uncertainty that, unfortunately, the SEC has fostered. So I look forward to engaging with market participants and working with colleagues in President Trump's administration and Congress to establish a rational, fit-for-purpose framework for crypto assets.
All right, there's so much to cover today. All right, this was I like Black Swan Capital's banks now want to be crypto exchanges. Funny how fast the script flips. They want to get in on it. Enjoy the show. So right.
The Squawk Box this morning, banking regulators pulling back some U.S. cryptocurrency guidance. This is interesting, guys, because the Fed said it was withdrawing supervisory letters that said that banks should seek advance approval from authorities before engaging in crypto asset and stablecoin activities. In addition, the Fed, the FDIC, and the Office of the Controllers of the Currency pulled back statements from 2023 that urged banks to be careful when it comes to crypto-related risks. During the 2024 campaign for the White House, President Trump promised crypto investors that he would have their backs if he was reelected. In a statement announcing the latest changes, the Fed said that regulators would look into whether new guidance to support crypto asset innovation was appropriate, but it means effectively that I think a lot of those letters had scared the banking system sort of out of getting meaningfully involved in crypto, and now they're saying, do what you like.
Here's the question. I mean, because it's the Fed doing that, it's not like an executive order where it's going to get whipsawed if another administration comes in 4 years, I would assume. But again, the politicization of it probably has some things a little concerned about whether the winds would change again at some point. I guess maybe it's better because it's coming from the Fed.
Well, I think part of it's coming from the Fed, and it sounded like part of it was coming from
the administration. That's what I don't understand. This was part of the campaign promises to do these things. Again, businesses just don't like getting whipsawed by changes in administrations that lead to huge changes in policy.
I don't know if this means that all of a sudden you're going to go to your local Chase on the corner and be taking Bitcoin. But you can't take Bitcoin.
Look, I guess it does feel very different. It does feel very different in that crypto is becoming much more widely accepted, and maybe if they can get more regulation that kind of cements that, maybe it would make the banks feel a little better about it.
I mean, look, we used to interview Janet Yellen, and she would always talk to you about the risks of it.
Right.
By the way, Jamie Dimon would talk to you about the risks of it. So I don't know. It's interesting because there are people in the banking system who still have their own views of the risks.
But I think the banking system would also like to offer their customers whatever their customers want.
Look, Larry Fink was against it until he was for it.
Until he wasn't, right.
I think they've all been for it all along, playing games. I'm going to skip that one. I wanted to show you this. Stripe CEO says company's finally testing its stablecoin product, a decade in the making. Who funded Stellar from the very beginning? Stripe. They still, to my knowledge, own 2% of the XLM supply. Don't be surprised if they don't build that one on the Stellar network. Look at this. Citibank, one of the largest U.S. banks, will soon allow its customers to invest in Bitcoin and various other cryptocurrencies. Ashley Prosper says, you mean the same Citibank that partnered with Medico, which Ripple purchased in 2023? That Citibank? I wonder who will help store and secure their crypto. And then we've got this. Hashdex has launched the XRP H11, the world's first XRP spot ETF in Brazil. The ETF tracks the NASDAQ XRP reference price index with 95% of its assets allocated to XRP. So this one has to actually go out into the market and buy XRP. Man, I can't even imagine the supply issues that the circulating supply issues. What happens when all these ETFs start opening up and they can't get any more XRP? Well, the answer to that is price go up. Okay, so in DAIXRP.com, which is the Patreon, and if you'd rather join in the private group through YouTube, click the join button below any of my YouTube videos. Get the extended video and no commercials. Today, we're going to be talking about what is the geopolitical aspects of why I think XRP was created are far larger than the day-to-day green candles and all this talk. That's never been what this has been about. This was to prevent World War III and to replace the petrodollar. Let's talk about some of what that means in the group. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Away we go.